Y'all want to go to therapy with me? Come on. Yes, she did her best, but it's okay that her best was not what you needed. Ooh-wee. I will say that's one thing that I'm very proud of, is that as I've gotten older and I've grown, I've been able to see my parents through a different lens. There is no way that y'all can tell me that y'all care for me. The woman that gave birth to me is still living on this earth and chooses not to be a part of my life. And we were once like this. I don't believe y'all. I'm so nervous. I'm so nervous. Today is day 1 of therapy, and we've had the initiation. We've had, I say initiation, consultation, whatever you want to call it. And so like those were the first steps, where basically she's asking you all of the questions as to why are you here? Why do you feel like you need therapy? And basically she's doing all of these assessments and things to see if you're suicidal. Oh, I don't know if I can say that word. I might bleep that out. All of these things just to get a gauge on what's going on before you truly dive into the nitty gritty. So I say today is day 1 because today is day 1 of us actually spending an hour talking about the problems that need to be talked about. And I wanted to start this series of A Black Girl Goes to Therapy because I didn't want these nuggets that I'm going to be learning from therapy to get lost within my vlogs, and I wanted it to be something separate. So if you guys want to follow me throughout this journey, it's going to be very vulnerable. We're going to get very transparent. Y'all know your girl keeps it real. We're going to keep it real over here. And so this is a safe space, baby. Let's talk about it. Y'all, this hair is doing whatever it wants to do. Are y'all scared to go to therapy? Have y'all been to therapy? I want to talk about it down below in the comments, because I've done therapy before. I've done BetterHelp, but I stopped BetterHelp because it was a car payment. And then we got to a point in my sessions where I would show up and she would be like, so what do you want to talk about today? And I would be like, nothing. I don't got nothing to talk about. Mind you, I don't always have things to talk about. I'm not sad all the time. I might be sad 90% of the time, but I'm not sad all of the time. And so she would be like, okay, then I guess I can let you go today. There's nothing to talk about. I'm like, Miss Ma'am, that is not what I'm paying you for. I am paying you to literally dig and pull things out of me to reveal to me that, baby, that may be an issue. That may be the reason you do this. That may be the reason you act like this. That is what I'm paying you for. So I was like, we can't do this no more, because I don't think that you're doing what needs to be done. So anyway, that is why I stopped BetterHelp. But for those that are trying BetterHelp and are interested in it, don't let that deter you. That could have just been my experience with the therapist that I had. And don't get me wrong, she was a great therapist. It's just that by the time we got to that point, I was like, okay, it is what it is. I was checked out. She was checked out. It was cool. So we're here, and this is my first time actually doing therapy in person. And I wonder if that's a part of why I'm so nervous, because now, I don't know, it's just different. Like, I feel like whenever I did therapy online and I'm breaking down crying, I can at least look down when I start breaking down and I'm not making eye contact with somebody. But now knowing I'm on somebody's couch and it looks like I'm in the middle of a movie scene and I'm breaking down and somebody is just staring at me, empathizing with me, like somebody sees me for real, it's a whole different feeling. And it's like, I see why people don't go to therapy. I'm not making an excuse for it, because I am a firm believer that everybody needs therapy, whether things are going good or bad in your life. Even if things are going good, baby, please go to therapy, so when things do get bad, you know how to handle it when things do go bad. Okay? You know what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I said that right. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. But anyway, where was I going with this? For those that don't know me, hi, my name is Mackenzie, and sometimes I can be a scatterbrain and I lose my train of thought. Baby, where was you going with that? It's because I got to this traffic stop. Hold on. What was I saying? Oh my God, it's because I'm nervous. Oh, that's what I was saying. I see why people don't go to therapy, because like days like today, I'm happy, I'm calm, I'm cool, I'm collected. There's days where, okay, so y'all know I struggle with depression. So when I have my happy days, I try to take advantage of them. Today is a happy day. I don't want to cry. I don't want to dive into no deep stuff. I don't want to talk about it today. Today is one of those days where I don't want to go there. And because of that, I want to cancel my appointment. But I know that's what the devil wants me to do. And I know that's me running away from my problems, because I know that the problems are very much so there. And I'm like, I just want to call you when I'm sad, so it's just already out in the open and we can just go into it. I don't want to be happy, and then now you make me sad. And so I get that's why people don't go to it, because they just don't want to address it. And it really is just a lot easier to run away from it. It is a lot easier to turn the other way and act like it didn't happen, and just to keep moving forward as if you're fine. But the problem is, baby, you're not fine. That's the problem. The problem is you're not fine. The problem is it actually shows up in your actions. It shows up in how you treat people. It shows up in how, girl, go. It's your turn. It shows up in every move that you make. It shows up. And I think for me, what's already so triggering, because I was talking to my friend about it at work, about like our trigger points when we're in therapy. What triggers for me is understanding that like a lot of my, why are you like that? Why do you love like that? Why do you get triggered like that when it comes to men and stuff like that? It all stems from my mama problems. And I'm like, damn. And so it's like a part of it is like hearing yourself say things out loud. You realize how messed up it is. And then you feel doomed. But it's like, baby, there's healing on the other side of this. So it's like, stop. Oh, see, I'm already getting too ahead of myself. I'm getting too ahead of myself. So I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to talk to the Lord. And y'all will see me after therapy. And we're going to talk about how I feel afterwards. I literally have no idea what I'm walking into. I have no idea how it's about to go, what we about to talk about. But I do know that I'm about to be crying, because I am an emotional being. I am the type of person, you ask me, hey, how are you? Tears. Because do you really want to know how I'm doing? Do you really want to know? Do you really want to know? Okay, y'all, so the first session has been completed, and boy, I can already tell I got a headache going. I need to make it a habit of taking ibuprofen before every session, because I know I'm gonna get a headache. I don't want to cry anymore, but my goodness, that was just really deep. It was just really deep. So basically today was like all about Mackenzie. She was like, tell me a bit about how you're brought up. Tell me how you were brought up to where we are today. And I was like, ooh, that is broad. So y'all know, I always tell you, I was like, well, one thing you're about to learn about me is that I am scatterbrained. So just bear with me and try to connect the dots, and let me know if you have any questions in between. And it is just so crazy, like hearing myself explain how I was brought up. Hearing myself explain how I was brought up. And like starting to understand why that may be why I am the way I am right now. And one thing that was like triggering me today is that she kept asking me when this was happening, where was your safe space? And I'm like, baby, I didn't have no safe space. There was a safe space. One thing that she told me that I thought was so good is because I told her like growing up, you know, I would get whoopings and stuff like that. And I was like, she was like, why would you get whoopings? I was like, well, you know, I had a smart mouth. And she was like, well, wait a minute. Did you have a smart mouth? Are you owning that? Did you truly have one? Or are you just owning it because that's what you were told? Or were you just curious? Did you just want to know why? Did you just have questions? And I was like, well, honestly, if you put it like that, I don't think I had a smart mouth. I think I was just a very curious child. And I was that child that was always asking why. Well, go do this, but why? Well, you need to do it this way, but why? Like, not out of disrespect, but because I'm genuinely curious, but why? And y'all know, in a Black parent household, baby, you don't ask me no questions about no why. It's just crazy, because it's like, how many things did we take ownership of just because there were these labels that were placed on us as we were kids? Just because there were these labels that were placed on us when we were kids. My goodness. And like even thinking about to like the last vlog when I was crying because she asked me, what are 3 things that you're good at? And I couldn't even tell her 3 things that I'm good at. And I was like, Kenzie, what the freak, do you even know yourself? And I was talking to Chelsea and she was like, that didn't even shock me that you couldn't tell me what you were good at, because you told me about how you were brought up. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she was like, you literally told me how when you were in elementary school, y'all, I kid y'all not, I would come home with a progress report one week, say it was like 98%. The next week I would have a progress report, it would say 94%. Most parents would be like, great job, baby, you got an A, yay. My mama, no, baby, she didn't play that. She said, baby, why is the score going down? The percentage should only be going up. I would get sent back to school with the note asking, what am I doing in class that is causing my grade to go down and not up? I remember taking that thing to school and them teachers would just look at me like, are you kidding? And I'm like, I'm not kidding. Please send me something back or I'm gonna be in trouble. Please send me something back. And so she was like, nothing was ever good enough. So it's not a shocker that you can't even tell yourself what you were good at, because there was nothing that was ever good enough. And it's crazy because honestly, just thinking about all areas of my life, it is always something where I'm like, I could have did it better. Oh, therapy is hard. Therapy is hard. And it's so crazy, but I'm so thankful because like in the midst of talking about all of the traumatic things that I've gone through growing up, I was like, I just had to stop and pause. And I was like, my mom wasn't a bad person. And so like for all of those out there, like when I talk about my mama trauma, my mama is not a bad person. Like I love her down. Like I love my mama so much. She is not a bad person. Now that I have gotten older, I know that my mom did the best that she could with what she had. And that is something that took me a minute to even get to this point. So this is already a level of healing that I've done within myself to be able to speak that. Because at first I was just pissed off, right? But the older I get and the closer that I grow with God, I'm able to understand that they're more than just your parents. I don't want to cry anymore. Now I got my little popper. I be in there just popping. She's more than just my mom. I'm not going to say her name on here, but say her name was Ashley. She's more than my mom. She's Ashley. She's Ashley first. And Ashley has her own hurt, and Ashley has her own traumas. And Ashley was trying to figure it out and happened to have a baby that she was trying her best to take care of. And the therapist helped me realize today, because she was like, well, I don't want you to invalidate your feelings. Yes, she may have given her best, but that doesn't mean that her best was what you needed. Yes, she did her best, but it's okay that her best was not what you needed. Ooh-wee. I will say that's one thing that I'm very proud of, is that as I've gotten older and I've grown, I've been able to see my parents through a different lens, because I just turned 28 and I feel like I'm still a kid sometimes. So I'm like, I could only imagine me having a baby. So I'm like, you mean to tell me you had 2 kids? Baby, I know she was just trying to do the best that she could with what she had, okay? But like the therapist said, just because she did the best that she could doesn't mean that she gave me what I needed. And so that was really good to hear. And it's crazy because she would ask me these questions. Like she would ask me about high school and things like that. Oh, y'all, if y'all see this white stuff on my face, it's tissue, it's Kleenex. Anyway. And I was just like, honestly, I can't remember. I don't remember. And I told her, I've been asking myself for a very long time now, like, why can't I remember things? I don't know why my memory is so poor. And I feel like my memory is so poor because for so long, I've allowed people to invalidate my own experiences and they'll act like it never happened. So I'm just like, am I crazy? So I think I've just started, I don't know, not believing my own experiences or what it is that I've gone through. And then she was like, well, I remember in our like consultation or our initiation, you were like talking about how you disassociate a lot. And she was like, I wonder if you started doing that way back then. And I was like, wow. Was I disassociating way back then? Just completely removing myself and going through the motions of what was happening. Goodness. So she said for our next session, whenever I book that, we're going to be talking about peers and friendships and significant others. So that's going to be another ball of tears, I'm sure, because we ended it with talking about my sister and how we don't have the best relationship, and now how I don't have a relationship with my nieces because what it is that we're going through. And she was like, okay, so now who is your safe space? And I said, God. And I didn't mean that as like I don't have friends, but it's like I struggle with like being a burden to my friends. And I know that they're probably watching this and they're like, girl, I'm not a burden. But as I told the therapist, the one thing that I hate that I've carried from having mama trauma is I look at everybody now as like, if my own mom could walk away from me and choose not to be a part of my life, there's no way y'all can tell me that y'all love me. There is no way that y'all can tell me that y'all love me. There is no way that y'all can tell me that y'all care for me. The woman that gave birth to me is still living on this earth and chooses not to be a part of my life. And we were once like this. I don't believe y'all. And she was like, so we have some trust issues. I said, yeah. And she was like, can you read that board behind me? And it says something like, the second you start to question someone's motive, everything that they do after that becomes tainted. And she was like, would you say that that's the truth? I said, hell yeah. Oh my goodness. That therapy session was so good. But anywho, I say all that to say at the end, she was like, the next session, we're going to talk about community, because she was like, I love that you got God, but he wants you to have community. Yeah, because I think when it comes to my friends that I do have, growing up, my mom would reiterate the same story over and over and over and over again. And it's just like, I refuse to do that with my friends, to my friends. And so that's why it sucks as someone that struggles with depression. So like when I go through my depressive episodes, I don't want to talk to nobody because it's the same story. It's the same story. So what am I calling them to tell them the same thing for? I feel like God about to work something out with that. Piece it together then. That's crazy. So yeah, that was my first day of therapy. I feel great. Now it's time to take my antidepressant and we're gonna go home, and I'm probably gonna take me a nap and hug on my dogs, and we're gonna pray and journal. And yeah, I don't think that I missed anything. Let me take a moment. So yeah, ultimately, I think the biggest thing that I'm proud of is to be able to recognize like how far I've come. Because when it comes to like my mama trauma, I will always call it that, my mama trauma. When it comes to that, I used to be at a standpoint of like, how could she be pissed off? Like, I hate her just out of an emotional standpoint. But it's beautiful to see how God has healed me in such a way where, yes, I still cry about it. It will always hurt because that is my mom. But I'm able to see her as more than just my mom. I'm able to see her as Ashley. Like, she's still God's child that has her own hurt, her own traumas that she's out here dealing with. I'm able to extend her that grace and see that she did what she could with what it was that she was given. And she did a great job. So I don't know if she would ever see this video, but mama, if you are watching this, I love you and you did a great job. You did a really good job with me. You did. And for any of those out there that can relate to mama trauma, and you're too currently going through something like that where you have a relationship that's no longer there with your mom or your dad, I just want you to know that it is going to be okay, and there is truly light on the other side, as cliche as that sounds, because literally years ago, I was in the most depressive funk ever, thinking my world was over because my mama was my best friend. But here I am, and I'm able to tell you that it is okay and it does get better. But yes, it will always hurt, but it will simply hurt less. Yeah, I love y'all. If y'all like this series and y'all want me to continue being transparent and open in this way, make sure y'all comment down below and let me know. But until then, I'll see y'all on the next therapy session. Bye. Can I show my love for you?